Hey guys, welcome back to DREZZED Gaming News on Clownfish TV. This is Kneon, and we're going to talk about Clair Obscur Expedition 33, embarrassing Ubisoft, embarrassing all of AAA gaming with massive sales and a ridiculous critical score. Gamers are eating this game up, and this is a good thing. This is a good thing. I'll tell you what, AAA gaming needs to die or course correct. Right? Because this is what you get. This is what happens. And we're going to talk about this. This game just came out of left field. I haven't played it yet. I've been watching videos of it and I'm like, "Oh my god, how are we sleeping on this game?" Not everybody was sleeping on the game, but a lot of us were sleeping on this game. And then it dropped, and I think it's already sold 2 million copies in like less than a week. And the director comes from Ubisoft. This could have been a Ubisoft title, but the director said that it would have taken 25 years to navigate the bureaucracy in a AAA studio just to get started on this game. Why is AAA gaming dying? This is part of it. And then you've got people that can produce games like this, and you let them go. You let them walk away. You let them go out the door. So we're going to talk about all this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe, guys. This is Clownfish TV. This is DREZZED Gaming News on Clownfish TV. This is kind of a subsection of our main channel. Talk about video game news, straight up video game news. Not a lot of opinion. The only opinion I have in this one is just like this shows why AAA gaming studios need to die. It shows why Ubisoft is in the situation it's in right now, right? So let's see. This is coming from 80 level. Clair Obscur, Expedition 33 director, left Ubisoft because he was bored. He said it would have taken 25 years to navigate all the bureaucracy in a AAA gaming studio just to get started on a game like this. Wow. So this is Guillaume. Is it Guillaume Brioche? Am I pronouncing that right? So prior to creating one of the most beloved games of all time, used to work at Ubisoft, one of the most disliked game studios of all time. Can we say that now? Are we allowed to say that now? Does that make you alt-right? Recently, he spilled the beans on why he left Ubisoft and went out to establish Samfall Interactive. And his reason is one that many people will undoubtedly find relatable, even if they aren't part of the gaming industry. So he joined in 2014 as an assistant creative director, moved to Microsoft in 2015 as a brand manager on Xbox One, then returned to Ubisoft in 2017. And he served as associate producer on Ghost Recon Breakpoint and The Division 2, as well as brand development manager and narrative lead for the Might and Magic series. They're still making Might and Magic games? Huh. So he left in 2020, and it turned out to be the right move. Why, he said, why he left was he was simply bored. He was bored. He wanted to do something different. Maybe it's brochet. Is it brochet? I want to say brioche. I'm thinking like bun. Is it brochet? Actually came up with the idea for Expedition 33 while still working at Ubisoft, but pitching it to the studio's execs wasn't an option. He just didn't have enough influence with them. He continued saying that he had tried to convince the corporate higher-ups that his game idea was worth pursuing. It would have taken him over 2 decades to build up his name and push it through all the AAA studio bureaucracy just to get started, highlighting once again the widening gap between managers and developers in today's AAA gaming world. This is the future right here, right? We don't need, and this game looks better. It looks better than anything Ubisoft has put out in the last 5 years, 10 years. So he said projects like these with new IPs, original stories, completely original characters are super hard to push through in a big company. There are a lot of approval steps, and in general and big structures, you already have to prove yourself, be pretty high up in the hierarchy just to have a chance at pitching this kind of project. You have to be a Neil Druckmann or something, right? For me, a project like this would have taken 25 years to make in a big company, and I don't have that much patience. We also wanted to do things our way and really create an atmosphere. That's what this game is, creating a vibe. So, Ubisoft is not going to be around in 25 years, so it's probably a good thing this guy bailed. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 becomes Metacritic's highest rated game of all time. All time? sold 1 million copies in 3 days, received praise from the French president, and became a top contender for Game of the Year, all with a modest team of 60 people. So this is sort of, I guess, the YouTube equivalent of gaming, right? When you've got a big hit like this, and you look at other independently developed games, Power World, and and you see that they're just completely destroying AAA gaming. You cannot justify spending $200-300 million and spending 10 years of development or whatever on some game that's going to fall flat in its face, hiring 500, 600 people to work on, or whatever the hell that number they hire now. And meanwhile, you've got 60 people putting out a game like this that is better than what the AAA studios are putting out. It's better than what Ubisoft is putting out. Ubisoft could have put this game out, but they wouldn't. Not in the state they're in right now. Instead, you get Assassin's Creed Shadows or whatever. So Sandfall Interactive's magnum opus has added one more accolade to the list, now earning the title of Metacritic's highest rated video game of all time as of this writing. So this was yesterday. Expedition 33 stands at mind-boggling 9.8 Metacritic user score on PC with 1.9K reviews, and an equally astonishing 9.7 on both PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X with 7.7 thousand and 630 plus reviews respectively. Whether you consider the PC or PS5 rating as a primary benchmark, both 9.7 and 9.8 are the highest video game user scores ever recorded, surpassing legendary GOAT titles like The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Baldur's Gate 3, The Last of Us 1, Half-Life 2, and Heroes of Might and Magic 3. I'm pausing for dramatic. Like, do you understand how much this is going to upend the AAA system? Again, it's like YouTube. YouTubers coming in and just destroying mainstream media in views. And they don't like it, right? So I gotta wonder what's going to happen if the AAA studios are going to try to tear down some of these independent studios that make them look bad. If you were smart, you would hire people like this guy and let him do his thing. Instead, you go out and make freaking Dustborn and freaking Concord and all these other flops. And I think really there are too many cooks in the kitchen. You look at some of the best video games, not just games, but games, comics, movies. And a lot of times most of the time you had a unified vision. Right? Compare George Lucas Star Wars to Disney Star Wars, which is corporate product. You've got too many cooks in the kitchen. When you've only got a team of 60 people and you got one guy who's in charge of it, it's his vision. They can move quicker because they're smaller, right? It's a smaller team. You can move fast. Again, it was normal 10, 20, I'd say 20 years ago for most of the top games to have relatively small teams. And then it just more and more blow. I remember when Final Fantasy VII came out. That's how old I am. I remember when Final Fantasy VII came out, and it was unheard of to have the number of people working on that game that they had. And a lot of it was because of CGI, which was new at the time. But just like, I remember people beating Final Fantasy VII being like, my God, did you stick around for the credits? So many people involved in this game. And was it Assassin's Creed? One of the games out there, somebody posted, there's like freaking 4 hours of credits or some shit like that. Meanwhile, a team of 60 people can just embarrass the hell out of Ubisoft and the rest of AAA gaming. And this is the new normal. Just like the new normal is going to be for animation, you're going to do it yourself. Just like the new normal for news is you're going to listen to YouTubers, you're going to listen to podcasts, you're going to read newsletters. You're not going to go to mainstream media anymore because they're too bloated. Over the weekend, the greatest non-JRPG also shattered its own record for concurrent Steam players, reaching an all-time peak of over 145,000 users. It's the ninth best performing Steam title of 2025, surpassing several major AAA releases like Civilization 7, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Avowed, and the PC version of Spider-Man 2. God, that's insane. So even more insane is the sales numbers. This is come from IGN. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 hits 2 million copies sold in only 12 days. 2 million copies after 12 days on sale. That's up from the 1 million sold 3 days after launch. It's worth remembering that Clair Obscur Expedition 33 was, alongside Oblivion Remastered, a day one Game Pass title. Okay, fine. But still, this is an indie title. That makes this sales milestone all the more impressive. For French developer Samfall Interactive and publisher Kepler Interactive, we've watched in awe as so many of you begin your journey, feeling every step, every emotion, every revelation alongside you. Those who are just joining us, welcome. Tomorrow comes 12 days to 2 million. When Bethesda Shadow dropped Oblivion Remastered amid the launch of fellow role-playing game Clair Obscur Expedition 33, most thought there could only be one winner. However, it turned out that there were plenty of room. There's plenty of room. Yeah, it's weird because as AAA gaming dies, right? I mean, Bethesda, okay, fine. Yeah, it's Bethesda, but it's an older game, right? But you're gonna see more of this. And this is what needs to happen. The forest fire has come. The cleansing fire. And now if you can get this crap that doesn't, kind of like really, it is very similar in some ways to the console crash in the early 1980s, where there was just too much crap and you had to burn it down and start over again. Then we got Nintendo, then we got Sega Genesis, you know what I'm saying? So we reached another we've reached another inflection point, I think, in the video game industry, in media in general. And you should be excited. I'm going to tell you the truth. Yeah, there's a lot of people screaming about losing their jobs or whatever. The people who are screaming about losing their jobs, most of them, I'm not trying to be a dick, but most of them don't have what it takes to do it themselves. And back in the day, if you wanted to make a video game, or you wanted to make a comic book, or you wanted to make an animated series, it was your own stuff, whatever, you had to do it yourself. You wanted to build a website, you wanted to build a podcast, you had to do it yourself. Okay, if you're incapable of doing it yourself, if you have to take a job with somebody else, some megacorp or whatever, you don't have what it takes, right? You don't have what it takes. That's my feeling on it. So Kepler Interactive Senior Portfolio Manager Matt Handranen told Game Business last week, we always knew that Expedition 33 had a very specific identity. When I was in the press, I saw the Western-style RPG and the Japanese-style RPG as having different appeals and audiences. That's true. For the longest time, they were very different. Like, if you told people you're into RPGs back in my day, you told them you're into RPGs, if it was Western, you're thinking, okay, Baldur's Gate, Ultima, that's, I guess maybe World of Warcraft. That was, then if you're into JRPGs, you're into, turn-based battle with waifus. So it was, Final Fantasy, Phantasy Star, a bunch of titles from, Namco, you know what I'm saying? That's what you're into. And I was primarily a JRPG player with a couple exceptions. Definitely Ultima Online. I played a hell of a lot of Ultima Online, and I used to play Diablo 2 all the time. Does that count? Does Diablo 2 count as an RPG? I don't know if it really counts as an RPG, but I played a lot of that too. Anyway, but mostly I was into JRPGs, and I have so many JRPGs under my belt. I have played so many of them, played through so many of them, up through probably the 32-bit at like pretty much everything. But it all blends together after a while, it does. So Oblivion did not harm Clair Obscur. Clair Obscur actually benefited from Oblivion's release because it boosted excitement for the RPG genre. So that's cool. I mean, yeah, the French president praised the game, right? That's freaking awesome. I don't know what else to say about this. Just watch this space. Also go out and subscribe to our newsletter at news.clownfishtv.com. We've been covering it, but I'm actually excited. And it's weird. I mean, we talk a lot about the death of Hollywood and the death of comics and the death of whatever here on the channel on YouTube. But the reality is behind the scenes, there are quite a few people who are making new things. And I think we're going to see a lot of this as the old things tend to die. And I think a lot of these franchises, these companies have been around a lot longer than nature would have normally intended. Their lifespans have been unnaturally extended by the dark side of the force, right? It's unnatural. It is. You know, Star Wars, I love Star Wars, but they shouldn't be making new Star Wars movies 50 plus years. You know, Doctor Who, 60 years of Doctor Who. Maybe it's time to move on to something else. Maybe you can make something else that's inspired by Doctor Who or Star Wars, but those shows existed in a particular place and time, and you know, people move on. Like this game obviously is inspired by other RPGs and JRPGs, but it's something new. We've synthesized it into something new, and I think we're going to see more and more of this. Because, you know, look, you know, future generations aren't going to want, like, you know, movie franchise number 5 part, you know, here's a 65th Marvel movie. Oh boy, 65 Marvel movies going way back to. Could you imagine if they did that with like legacy franchise or film? Like, what if, like, I don't know, like the Wizard of Oz or Maltese Falcon or something became like a cinematic universe, and they started making Maltese Falcon movies for like decades. Now we're on like the 85th Maltese Falcon expanded universe. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't work. Just, you know, let the old stuff die off, bring in the new stuff, homage it. But yeah, this is pretty exciting news, guys. I think it's really cool. This is everything we talk about on this channel. And this needs to happen more, and it needs to happen in every industry, in my opinion. So I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.